And now, we would like to present our Distinguished Service Award. And for this moment, I'm going to turn it over to Greg Alexander.
Well, I couldn't come up with some cute little way to deceive you all about who I was talking about, so you're probably going to guess pretty quickly. But in 1994, Tracy and I moved to town, came and saw our first Mummers and fell in love. I worked as a props person. I'm not giving it to me, but we worked as props person for 2 years backstage, and came up to Greg Duff, who was stage managing at the time, along with David Frerick. And I said, Greg, I'm kind of interested in stage managing. Is that something that I could get into? And he said, sure. And I never saw him again. And I started stage managing next year. Well, that year, David Frerick decided to leave. So I was stuck being the only stage manager. So I called up a friend of mine who was had been doing a lot of volunteering at the theater. But,
You gonna start crying?
you're gonna look that way.
I'm already doing it.
And said, hey, I need a little help. You interested in stage managing down at Mummers? And I think he told me to go myself.
Thank you for
But,
using
he
the
said,
key
yeah, all
ring.
right, yeah, sure. And anyway, 17 years or 16 years later, he's now retiring and leaving me in the lurch again. So this year's Distinguished Mummer goes to my friend and comrade and battle partner, Gray McCoffin.
Thank you, guys. This is, it's probably a surprise up until the point that Greg called me or emailed me the other day and said, you really need to come to this meeting.
His first one ever.
And I wrote him back and said, it's interesting that all of these years, the 16 years that I've been doing this, that I've never been to one of these meetings. Part of it was, when I had things to do and couldn't get here, and then it kind of became more like, I can't go now. I'm setting a record. And then I also reminded Greg that for the majority of those years, until he became a big woo-woo with his red and black shirt, he wouldn't go to them either. So for him to tell me to come, it was like, I don't know. There's got to be something, and I don't want to be involved in the flaming of the yucca as it fell down around us, showing up for this. But I do appreciate it, and I've really enjoyed this, and I haven't left the country. I did have a call. I'll tell you one thing that I thought was funny. I think a lot of you guys know Carrie. Well, her name's changed now. From Wagner Noel. She was an intern here. She was Carrie Scott. She was an intern for MCT for a year, and then she left there and became the technical director at Wagner Noel. Here about 3 weeks ago, I guess, or so, she called me and left me a message, and she said, and I know Carrie pretty well, and she said, I heard that you had retired at Mummers. And I don't know how much retiring you're really looking to do, but I'm going to have to be out on maternity leave, and I'd like you to take over my position at Wagner Noel since you're retired. Well, the only thing I actually retired from for the time being was Mummers, and that's just due to some scheduling conflicts for next year at MCT. So, but I thought that was actually very touching in itself that she would ask me to do that job. But I have enjoyed this and will continue to enjoy it in various ways in the future, I'm sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we adjourn, I just want to say, anybody that's been backstage with Graylin, and I'm going to cry now. I've never had anybody tell me to F off, F and shut up, and love somebody as much as I do. Thank you so much. You deserve this and more. All right, there's still sandwiches and beer.